Primary source documents from fringe movements often appear to outside observers as impenetrable, chaotic monologues. We are examining a specific artifact, a sprawling 10,000-word internal address delivered to the Keshe Foundation in May of 2020. The scope of the address is massive, casually linking alien federations and microchip hardware to global mafia cartels and revisionist Genesis myths. Our objective is strictly academic. We are treating this text as a complex sociological dataset, independent of the scientific validity of its claims regarding physics or medicine. Analyzing this address reveals a rigorous internal logic built upon a three-pillar architectural model: geopolitics, technology, and theology. Mapping this architecture reveals how the movement captures and processes real-world pandemic anxieties, translating them into a self-contained, weaponized narrative. The first pillar centers on a specific geopolitical claim. The COVID-19 pandemic is an orchestrated, targeted attack. The text identifies Bill Gates as the primary architect of this biological strike. It alleges that Gates operates a global mafia structure, using the World Health Organization as a direct proxy for his agenda. This narrative claims Gates aligned with Italian and Sicilian criminal syndicates, as well as global drug cartels, to deliberately spread the virus. The narrative absorbs the Jeffrey Epstein scandal, asserting Epstein was eliminated because he possessed blackmail footage of elites being harvested by Gates's scientific attachés. Interestingly, the movement dismisses mainstream 5G microchip conspiracies. Their internal checks concluded that CA1919 markings on hardware were simply transistor serial numbers. While the text treats the United States as geopolitically irrelevant, it claims the Foundation is in active negotiations with leaders from China, Russia, and Iran. This matrix curates disparate global events into an immediate, existential threat that standard governments are supposedly incapable of solving. In a world characterized by lockdowns and desperation, the movement introduces its proprietary intervention. The second pillar relies on plasma, or GANS, technology, which the speaker claims is sourced from a universal community of extraterrestrial beings. Earth is presented here as a cosmic greenhouse, a localized hatchery defined by its unique biodiversity. The text argues that this greenhouse is currently suffering from an atmospheric contamination that conventional human science cannot solve. The speaker details tactical deployments of his technology, claiming Brazilian supporters bypassed medical protocols by giving sprays directly to hospital cleaning staff. In Iran, nurses are allegedly using GANS material covertly on critical patients during night shifts. The technology is described as a way to adjust the environmental temperature of the virus's field. By making the environment uninhabitable for the pathogen, they claim to make traditional vaccines obsolete. This framework positions the Foundation as the exclusive broker of human survival, offering the only functional mechanism for salvation. The geopolitical and technological pillars are ultimately rooted in a deep theological dualism. The speaker identifies attachment to physicality as humanity's fundamental failure. Within this system, the pandemic acts as a forcing function for an evolutionary leap toward the soul. This theology employs a strict gender mapping. The female represents the soul, the ultimate creator and nourisher that draws energy directly from the environment. The male represents physicality, or the hunter, and is described disparagingly as a leash on the soul's potential. The Foundation's origin story relies on radical historical revisionism, claiming that early females reproduced via parthenogenesis without the need for male sperm. This cosmology rejects the biblical Adam and Eve myth as a fabricated patriarchal lie. According to the text, males constructed this myth to assert dominance once they realized their own physical limitations in the reproductive process. This theology justifies the Foundation's female leadership structure, contrasting it against male prophets who allegedly brought only violence. This cosmological rewrite transforms followers, particularly women, from physical victims of a pandemic into enlightened cosmic operators participating in a new evolutionary cycle. When we revisit the complete architectural model, the ideology appears as a single functioning unit. Each pillar is interdependent. The geopolitical threat creates a desperate demand for the movement's proprietary technological intervention. That technological authority is then morally and ontologically justified by the gendered theology, which loops back to explain why the geopolitical elites are attacking humanity. Viewed as a whole, this text functions as a highly integrated, self-reinforcing ecosystem. By absorbing real-world trauma and ancient archetypes, the movement builds a totalizing alternative reality. Understanding this architecture reveals the precise sociological mechanics fringe ideologies use to capture and hold adherents during times of global crisis.